weekly session. Here we go.
Sorry, go around me. My controller just messed up.
That's okay.
So let's begin this evening session with our dedication. Setting the intention for this session. So I'm going to share my hope, my intention, and I hope each one of you reaffirms that intention or rephrases it to be better for you, or even thinks of something else, your own meaning for being here. So my intention is that each one of us cultivates peace and happiness. That we really get at our core that we can do that. And that we cultivate that to our core. Transforming ourselves to be beings of peace and happiness. And not just peace and happiness. That at our core we know we can cultivate and transform ourselves. We liberate ourselves from any limiting beliefs we have about ourselves or about our feelings, and we fully become the creator of ourselves and our lives. And that we can then inspire people around us. Just by feeling great, it makes others feel great, but also through words and wisdom and action. And that this time we spend helping ourselves be awesome, ultimately, we're creating a world where everybody gets to experience that awesome. So to the audience at home, sorry about my world crashing. Let's go back in and rejoin the team. Oh no. And you might have noticed as we entered, we bowed to the temple and then bowed to the enlightened being. That process is for us to make this time special. Hey everyone. I really need to find how to stop my VR chat from crashing.
Do you think it's related to OVR Toolkit?
Let's check it out after we finish the stream.
No worries.
So to reiterate our intention for this session, it's to help you be awesome. Really awesome. I want you to feel everything good that you've seen from all of this and feel it even deeper Expand what you imagine is possible with your own consciousness. And that ultimately we can make a world where everyone has that awesomely. All right, that's our intention setting. Let's grab a seat.
Sorry, I have to walk in my room. Okay.
Okay. So my intention for today's session is to really experientially practice what we've been covering lately: mindfulness, compassion, and training our minds. And so I wanted to have a lot of guided meditative moments, but also open to any questions from any of you here. And let me check the live stream. Anyone from the live stream, if you write on in, you can also be part of our session. So I just want to start with a little meditation, just to set the stage for our session today. So if you've never meditated before, it's just a chance to let your mind be calm and to cultivate positive feelings, to practice positive feelings, to practice positive states of mind so they become a greater part of you.
Whoa, I'm meditating with other people.
Welcome. Yes. We're actually just about to start a meditation, Mr. Kim. Welcome to the temple.
That's great, man.
We're also live streaming, so just to be aware of that. All right, so we're just about to start a meditation. So if everyone who's here could mute your mic just during the meditation and get yourself comfortable. There are also dancing meditations or yoga meditations. It doesn't have to be a physical relaxing activity. But for this kind of meditation right now, I just want your body to feel really at peace. And you can close your eyes and just roll your shoulders around. Just feel your shoulders up and back, and then let them go. Give your torso a little bit of a shake, and then let it come to be still in a place that feels relaxed. Feel your arms and legs, and take a deep breath and imagine them relaxing. Each breath you take, you'll feel more peace, and you'll be able to imagine an even deeper peace. Mama, it's quite loud. What about if you just grab stuff to go and jump in the shower? Isn't that Natalia's job? Notice your mind. Some of our minds newer to meditation might be doing a lot. Maybe you've already practiced a lot and your mind's become very still and calm already. But no matter what your mind is doing right now, imagine it becoming even stiller as you feel your breath. It's like dipping your hand in a fast stream and feeling the water flow past. Let your mind go into the flow of the breath and just feel it flowing past in and out of your nose. It's such a simple activity, but it can bring such profound peace and transformation. And as you notice more relaxation or more peace, then you can go even deeper. If you've been practicing a lot, you might want to remember some of those profoundly relaxing feelings. Or if you're quite new, you might like to imagine what wild, deep meditation might feel like. Amazing sensations through your body, or your mind becoming perfectly still in a single point of focus. Some people's consciousness feels really big and expansive. Some people even feel like they're one with the entire universe. As you just breathe and be present, and know that more amazing sensations will come at their own time. And at the same time, when you open up to those possibilities, you bring your attention to wonderful experiences, you can invite more of them in. Just letting yourself enjoy the whatever meditative sensations you've created. Deepen your breathing. Change how your breathing feels. And watch closely how you can change how your mind feels. Let yourself be fascinated by your own awareness. And imagine whatever peace or nice feelings you've just created. Imagine what it would be like to feel twice as deep or peaceful or blissful. Or imagine what it would feel like to be 1,000,000,000 times as peaceful, aware, unshakable. So for those of us who are meditating, just notice how you feel right now. Have a little stretch. Bring yourself back into the temple. We've had a few more people join us, so let's all just be here together. So, welcome to those of you who just joined us. So we just did a mixture of some focus and relaxation meditation, a little bit of mindfulness, watching your awareness, and a little bit of consciousness crafting. I'm not sure if I've really seen many other places where they actively create how they want their mind to be. So I hope that you enjoy that. I find that a really precious gift, and I'm really grateful that I discovered that as a possibility. So I said that today is very much going to be a collaborative experience. So I'd love to hear this idea of crafting our state of mind, crafting how we feel, designing how we are as people. I'd either like to hear how that's been helping you lately, or maybe also just the idea of it. What does that help you imagine what you'd like to become in the future, or what you'd like to help the world to be? Creek?
So I've noticed the more I focus on like the truth of impermanence and being mindful of watching this constant state of change, I've begun to look at the world, and my mind is kind of a consistent blank canvas. And like every opportunity, every word, anytime I'm allowed to point my awareness at the blank canvas is an opportunity to kind of paint my experience. And even without having to make decisions, knowing that I myself and the universe together are equally this impermanent blank canvas has like destroyed a lot of the anxiety I have throughout any everyday experience, because there's like no more rushing or no more like have to do's. So that's been really nice.
Thanks. There was a lot of perspective compacted into what you just said. Perhaps you could give us an example. You said it was helpful to like clear away anxieties. So maybe you could describe how looking at things as a blank canvas helps with that. Oh my God. Sorry about the crashing, everyone at home. Hope those moments are just a chance for you to think for yourself.
It was really esoteric. It's like the teacher became welcome.
Hey, thanks
Welcome
everybody.
back. Yeah, I think I opened my eyes and there was nobody in the room. Yeah.
Yeah, you remember? I think you were there. Yeah. That was such a good moment.
What did I miss?
So I was retelling them. So I remember a long time ago, it was like me, Ekis, maybe Scott, and one other person when we first started coming here. You did this really long guided meditation, and you had to go at one point, but we're all here with our eyes closed and really meditating, and you never told us when you left. So there was this like really esoteric moment of like all of us sitting in silence in this deep meditation, and it's like the teacher had already like enlightened and like left us to our own devices. It was really cool. It was a good experience. I remember that being like, whoa, that was cool.
Happy to have been a part of it.
Yeah. Oh, but to answer your question, about the blank canvas idea, so if at every moment, everything is always new and changing, in a way, there's the only expectations that exist are your kind of the ones that are in your mind, and those expectations go both ways for the outer world and your inner world. And every second, every millisecond is infinite change in the universe. The whole you can't step in the same river twice kind of idea. And so if at every moment there's an infinitely blank canvas, then that means you can step into who you would like to be. You could focus your awareness on what you would like to see any time. And hopefully those would be wise things, you know, given your situation, whether it be peace or kindness or joy. So yeah, that's what I mean. It's been really nice. It's like the narrative of life became a lot more simple. There's no more rushing. Like, I have my entire life or every single moment to do anything I'd like. So it's been helpful.
Thanks for sharing. As you were describing, in each moment you can step into what you want. It reminds me that it's not just stepping into peace or happiness. When we choose our focus, we can really transform our experience of each thing. I've seen with things that people feel are just like rock solid, this is how it is, we can even transform that. I have transformed in myself how I like different foods. Like a certain food, if there's I used to think, oh, that food's not nice, but I've found out it's healthy and that lots of people love it, so it's in my head that it's not nice. And so I'd eat it and watch carefully, and there's 100 little parts of each flavor, and this one bit that wasn't good was somehow caught my attention. So if I just noticed all the good parts of it, it then became delicious. And then from then on, when I'd eat it, I'd maybe have to train myself a couple of times to focus on the good bits. But then that one little part that was not nice just isn't in my attention anymore, and it became delicious. And I did the same thing with different styles of music. I've seen the same thing with different kinds of people. Some people are totally chill, some people are more intense, some people are really artistic, and each one of us would react to different kind of situations differently. But by looking at what parts you experience in someone, you can really change what you feel and experience with them. And it's not even like this person or this person. One person can change from day to day or week to week. So if I've noticed that my relationship with someone starts to feel more exciting, then I can ride that and be more excited. Or if there happens to be like a little tension that I'm noticing, I can then be like, oh, what am I going to focus on instead? How am I going to experience this situation differently? So you can shape it that you can enjoy everything and everyone much more wonderfully by watching carefully where your focus is. Both externally, like what part of the flavor or what part of the person or what part of the experience I'm going to focus on, but also internally. What am I going to think about myself? Or, when we were breathing and we imagined being a little more peaceful, and then we shifted gears and imagined better and better feelings. In each moment, what am I taking my consciousness into? How beautifully can I just be in this moment, regardless of whatever's going on, regardless of whatever is happening or what I focus on around me? You always have yourself. So being able to bring your best self, your peace, your wisdom to any situation, that is a beautiful gift that you can give yourself. I'm just going to get a little more comfortable. For those of us who are new to VR or people on the live stream, one thing that always amazes me is the two worlds. So I just walked over to get the ball, and then I was like, oh, I better come back to my body. And I happened to be standing right next to a fence. So I could have just sat on this bouncy ball in a nice part of the room, but just from being a little confused, I rolled the ball right up next to the fence and sat back where my body was rather than just adjusting my body. But why do I mention these funny VR things in meditation? Sure, I love VR and the quirkiness, and it's fun to laugh at. But it's also interesting from an enlightenment perspective. What constraints do we put on ourselves? What way do you think you have to be a certain way? Or do I have to act that way in that room or that group of people? And it's like we force ourselves into having these kind of weird experiences that when you look at it from an enlightened perspective where you could be thinking anything, there's like so many funny things that people and ourselves impose upon ourselves. So it's fun to be aware of that, to laugh at it in VR and also to smile and liberate ourselves of it in the real world. Amaza, you have something you'd like to share?
Yeah, I'd like to share actually two stories. One is maybe the constraint of the body. I had an epiphany yesterday. It was pretty amazing. We had a huge day outside, and we went to water, and it was fun and cold and hot and windy and exciting and exhausting. And we came home, and I felt super tired. And I didn't want to do any of the stuff that I have to do as a responsible parent. I didn't want to clean up. I didn't want to take care of anything. I just wanted to lie down and chill and maybe watch some movie and just chill. And then at some point it hit me. Well, I had definitely had times where I could go out and party all night long and still be on a roll and still go out and still be happy and not have the feeling of, oh my God, I just need to lie down and chill. So I thought, well,
Again, sorry to everyone on the live stream. I'll fix up my computer someday. I think it's because we're doing 3D editing. It's overpowering my system. And
You over, man?
hey.
Oh, hello, welcome back.
Hey.
Welcome back.
Hey, thanks everybody. Amazing. I'm sorry I missed your amazing story.
People liked it. And my second story is about being brave. Like, I usually consider myself as a brave person, or as daring, or I mean, not in all. I'm sure I could be better, but in normal social circumstances, I think I'm pretty decent. But in some ways, I feel sometimes still have some weird inner perspectives that just hold me back. Like today, I was reaching out to somebody for some help. Somebody who I met once really briefly. I knew that it could help me a lot, but it was really hard for me to actually sit down and write that message and really say, well, please help me with this thing, because I know you're really good at it and it could make my life actually better. And I really had to push myself. And I was kind of avoiding it, and I thought, I'll just do it later, not really now. I don't really want to. What if they don't want to hear from me, or what if they think that's just a silly request? And then what changed it for me was then I sat down and I thought, whatever, I'll just do it. Because what's the worst thing that can happen if I don't take this risk of maybe somebody thinking, this is silly, then I will never know. I'll never know if they want to help me. I don't know what's gonna come out of it. I'm losing out on so many good opportunities if I just let this go because of a weird feeling that I maybe have gotten from some belief in myself from who knows when, or who knows what society taught me, or who knows what happened. And so I sat down, went into my whatever, I can do this attitude, and I wrote that email, and I just had it there, and then I needed another push to actually push the send button, because it was like, but what if? And then I had to say, no, I got this, I can do this. It's me, I take full responsibility. And really, realistically, how many times have I gotten an email where somebody says, please, I actually need your help in something that you're good at? And I thought, that's a silly request. I think that's a never. I think always I thought, well, that's really, really nice. Thanks for reaching out, at least. So I sent it. And boom, I got an email back saying, yeah, that's awesome, I can help you.
Oh, great.
That's awesome.
I know a little bit of backstory to this story, and who she reached out to is a really amazing person. So I'm so proud of you to do that, and I'm glad you got a good response.
Thanks.
Lord Kirov, you were going to say something?
I was just going to say that one of the things I've been doing since coming here is just trying to have a much more positive attitude throughout my day. And one of the things that I've been doing more often is just smiling for the sake of it, because I felt like it. And I've noticed recently that a lot of my coworkers have started.
Unbelievable. Hey, people from the stream, I hope you can still hear us. Here we go back into the world. And everyone out there watching, I hope the inspiration of just transforming our mind is great for everybody.
Yeah, it's like, they hate me? What happened? Yeah.
Can you actually want to swap?
I think I might have just fixed it. Creek suggested getting rid of OVR, so I'm just killing all the other VR programs so that we don't crash so much. So what did I miss?
Just let me know. How much? When did you cut out?
Yeah, it depends on when you go.
I think I was saying that Christine's amazing. Oh, and then Lord Kirov said he just loves to smile, and then he noticed. Well, then I cut out.
So I've been trying to smile more at work, and oh gosh, this year. And I've noticed that since I've started smiling more, my coworkers have started smiling and being more happy, and that's making me smile and be happy because I'm doing that. And it's just become this giant cycle. It's just been making everybody around me happier, just from a small suggestion I think you made a few weeks ago, and it's been working wonders.
That makes me so happy. Thanks. Could you imagine if there was like this wave of revolution of enlightenment across the world? Not necessarily everybody was riding the wave yet, but a lot of us were on it, like just spreading happiness and positivity. And we were noticing, like really noticing the community and the world just getting better and better. And just everybody just being able to smile, like, hey, wow, we're really noticing this positive impact we're having. And that makes all of us feel even better, and then we have an even bigger, more positive influence every day. Yeah, if we think about the intention we started with and just imagine that growing more and more, it's enough reason to make me want to smile really big all the time. So, Lord Kirov, I'm happy to hear that you're having that happiness spiral in yourself and with the people around you. Wonderful. I think that will bring us to our next meditation. It's just going to be a quick one, but inspired by what Lord Kirov said, I just want us all to put on a smile and take some gentle, happy breaths. Some people who've done happiness meditation might already be just diving into feeling really good. Maybe you're enjoying your little smile. Maybe you're still exploring within yourself, where's that happy feeling? And then once you find it, just enjoy it. Maybe the thought that you're growing more happiness in yourself is a reason to be happy. And just you're setting up these happiness spirals in yourself. Cultivating joy is a reason to feel good. Smiling makes others happy. That's a reason to feel good. The fact that we can feel good by feeling good is a reason to feel good. And just each smiling breath you take, let your smile grow and just explore feeling good. Someone's avatar at the back. Poop Master's avatar's got a giant smile on it. Thanks. So take another deep, happy breath. And just so we can all be in the experience together, we're going to take a deep breath in and fill up our lungs. And then when you breathe out, you're just going to make a happy sound. Try to make it really capture the nice feeling you've made. And we're just going to feel all the happiness we've all cultivated. So a deep breath in, fill up your lungs. And then breathe out a ha 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 Notice how it feels to just experience each other's joy. So we take another deep breath in together. Ah. We'll just take 3 more breaths without the sounds, just to internalize and feel the good feelings you made. And imagine having more and more of that every day. And then we can finish the little happiness meditation. And you might like to decide to give yourself a couple minutes happiness meditation every day. Or you might think about, wow, it's just so there and available. That deserves my attention more and more. Or you might think about the times in your life or times where other people you care about, they might not have actually been able to find the happiness and give it the focus. And so there's more reason to have more happiness available, to have it in a way that's loving and supporting, to help people know that you care, and there's always a reason to appreciate that we care about one another.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Yes, this is gonna be a little bit of a story, sorry, but on more than a few occasions in the last month or so, I've noticed situations where people around me were angry, whether justifiably or not. Generally, in my opinion, not, but that's not really relevant. And I wasn't angry, whether it was because of happiness and meditation stuff or just that particular thing happened to not annoy me. And I've been trying to spread happiness and positivity, and particularly in those moments, to spread it to those people that aren't experiencing it but could be. And one approach that I was kind of taking was just telling them that there was no reason to be unhappy and just be happy. But I soon realized that that was making it worse, that wasn't something that people are, want to hear, that you could just turn off your sadness, especially in the moment. And so I've been really confused when those moments have happened to me recently on how to, spread positivity and joy, but not feel like I'm making them think that they're doing something wrong or that they shouldn't be feeling the way they're feeling.
That's a great question, and maybe you want to try changing your mic or something. It sounds like you're far away.
Alright, I'll look into that.
Cool. Could you mute now? So it's a good question. Just telling people, hey, just be happy. There's no problem. First, I want to say there are some times where that actually is the perfect thing to say. Occasionally, people are just totally ready to hear that. And sometimes pointing out that the way someone's thinking about it or the way they're taking their focus is wrong, they might react a little raw, but they might then think about it and be like, oh yes, actually that's true. I could focus on something different. So friends, I don't want to say that what you did was wrong. There are sometimes circumstances where that's perfect. But there's this concept in Buddhism, and it's just a good approach in life, is to try and find skillful ways to do things. They always call it skillful means in Buddhist circles. And so as you found, just blatantly saying, hey, there's no reason to be upset, isn't helpful. But whether it's choosing different words or choosing the way you say it subtly different, there are ways to present the same idea in a way that is inviting. So it could be that it could be a tone in your voice. You could say exactly the same words that somehow the person would then feel your love and helpfulness. Or maybe there'll be just a subtle change in, if you're imagining it feeling really inviting and warming and heartwarming, and you see them hurting and you're thinking of them getting to a place where they're not hurting, you might go to say, hey, there's no reason to hurt. And just by bringing that feeling of caring in, maybe you'll change the words subtly and the tone subtly enough for them to really listen. But then there's other approaches as well. Maybe telling a story about how you at some point were focusing on something that hurt, and then you learned about shifting the focus or the way you think about something, and it brought you a lot of peace. Or maybe just sharing that, hey, your intention for them is to find a way of looking at it that brings them peace or strength. So yes, I definitely think sharing these possibilities is great. And yes, we also have to explore what's the most skillful way we can do it. And it's different with every different person and in different situations. So it's kind of a game. Like, how do you find the way to share in a way that people will hear it and will receive it? Does anyone else have any thoughts or stories around ways that you've shared skillfully something that's a perspective shifter or a mind shifter in a way that people heard it or received it well? Hey, little baby.
I found that pointing out any kind of thing that is going.
So to the people at home, you could be thinking, where have you been resistant to wisdom? Or how could you share it better?
I guess Jax is gone.
Yeah,
Let's kill him.
Oh, whoops.
I'm back!
No, you.
That was a good story, though. That was a good story.
Yeah,
Um,
it wasn't really a story. I guess it was just a, I don't know.
An insight. Sheximus, would you like to share it again?
Oh, I mean, okay, I'll give a shorter. I'll just say it again for you, in a shorter version. So, for instance, if somebody's having a problem in their life that they can't control, like a family member dying, there's nothing you can do about that. Looking at it from the angle of this, well, you have these people in your life who care about you, and time is the greatest healer. I think that would be a good response. But for something like that, someone might have a little bit more control over. Sometimes I find being the bearer of solutions and working out, here, it's going to be okay. These are the things you can do to influence the situation, and I believe in you that you can do those things. I find that gets across a similar message in a way that I've had people receive in a more positive way.
So sharing that you believe in them and helping find the solutions together.
Right.
Awesome. Interesting that you mentioned a close family member dying. A couple of weeks ago, my dad died, and the last couple of...
I'm so...
No, I'm so passionate about brain engineering. The one thing he said to me was he just wanted me to be happy and to appreciate the people around me. So every day, I did that. I practiced being happy. And you said time heals all wounds. But that's not always true. There are some people who will continue to think of the thing in a way that's painful forever. So I actually think it's our perspective that heals the wounds. And so people can get to a point where they'll think of someone and just be left with love and caring and kindness. So right from the moment that I found out he had cancer, I started practicing that. What do I want to feel towards him forever? I want it to be just love and just appreciation. And so every time I thought of him, that is what I practiced. And now don't get me wrong, there were moments where other stuff came up, but they were moments. I'd see them arise, and then I'd just bring myself back into, hey, I want to be pure love and pure appreciation. And it's wild how much we can transform our mind when we set ourselves on it and practice it.
It was fresh in my mind because it's looking like my dad's going to be going to the hospital soon. For a different reason, he's not dying so much as his mental connection to reality is slipping. And he was in the hospital for quite a long time, pretty unresponsive and not... I don't want to say, forgive me for using this word because I don't know what else to say, but, crazy was the only way you could describe it. It was he just wasn't there. And through electroshock, he kind of got back and he seems to be slipping again. And so it felt like a death when that happened. We really thought that was it, and he was just going to, stay in a ward for the rest of his, life. So it almost felt like a death that first time, and it almost feels like a kind of death. And so that was why I use that example. It's something that's on my mind. So it's interesting that happened, and I'm so sorry that happened to you. You seem to be handling it very well.
Thanks. So I hope you have friends and family around to love and support you, and you have us too. We want to be here as a source of peace for you and calm, and of all the different ways you can remember your dad, that you can interact with him in whatever ways you can now. I hope that all the most beautiful ways are the ones that get your attention, so that you make your whole experience of it as heartwarming, as caring, as beautiful as you can. And yeah, you said it seems like I'm dealing with it amazingly. I really do believe we can do amazing things with our attention, and I give it that passion, and I hope to inspire that into all of us. And yeah, I believe you can do it too. I believe in you. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Fence, you asked, how do we share these, perhaps confrontational different perspectives in a way that people receive? Sometimes it's just about timing. Maybe it's giving them a hug for a little while and then sharing a story. Or maybe it's framing it right. You could say, hey, I've seen some ways of looking at it differently that's really helpful. Would you like to hear some of them? So there are ways to open those doors that people can hear it. And I hope that some of the ideas you just heard sound like things you want to try, but also together, skillful means of sharing enlightenment with people in all different situations. The more of that in the world, the better. So anytime you find a way of sharing something that's good, please share it with all of us. And it doesn't have to just be a hard time. Someone can be just fine. I'm fine, whatever. I don't need a meditation bullshit. But finding a way to just give goodness that makes people feel better is a wonderful thing. Opening people up to be more receptive to more happiness. The more ways we all have to do that, the better the world becomes. So it was a super good question, and I'm inviting all of us to keep paying attention to ways we share that work, and share them with each other. Tell those stories. Celebrate them. Because the more we have those good ways of being in our mind, the better the world becomes. So, Vince, is that
Yeah, thank you. That was
a good answer for now?
super helpful.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
That
yeah,
was definitely helpful. Thank you.
let's keep working on it. Yeah. I've also found in some traditions, they find telling a story that's not even directly related somehow kind of shifts people's mind out of where they're at, and then they start thinking of the story in the parable or just a completely different perspective. That can also be helpful. So there's different ways of bringing people to good things from all different cultures. So I hope we master many of them. Ekis, it looks like you have something you wanted to share.
Oh no, sorry. No, I was just messing with the headset.
Cool. You sure there's not something you want to share?
No.
Okay. Cool. Shreximus, were you with us when we did the smiling meditation?
I was not. I just kind of came in a little bit about 10 minutes ago.
Cool. So we did a meditation when we started just with gentle smiles and gentle happy breaths. And we just focused on the feeling of happiness growing. And I think most of us found just giving our attention to that and enjoying it, we could then feel happier and happier. So I want everyone to imagine, hey, if you kept practicing that, like how happy could you get? And I guarantee it's bigger than what you're imagining right now. It's wild how good you can make yourself feel. But not everyone is in a space right now where they think, oh yeah, happiness is appropriate. I mean, some people would say happiness is always appropriate. But it's amazing, like, the amount of creativity we can bring to meditation. So maybe the thing that's most inviting right now is appreciating. So I'm thinking of Shreximus' story and his dad. So maybe meditating on like appreciating all the good memories and all the kind things and just feeling that so much that it just fills you up. There's no room for any other feeling other than love and appreciation. That could be like an inviting meditation to practice. Or you might want to be meditating on compassion and understanding for people. Or you might want to do a similar meditation on being confident. Or you might want to do a similar meditation on being funny. And just think of any feelings. Anything that comes to mind is something that you could meditate on. You might want to meditate on believing in the power of your awareness. So I think I want to guide a short meditation on appreciating and caring. So it's just going to be a quick one, but I invite everybody to get comfortable, adjust your posture that it feels like, hey, right now is meditation time. Close your eyes. And those of you who've been meditating a lot, you might notice that the more you practice stepping into meditation, the more you can just bring yourself really into that deep, focused place. And I want everyone to bring to mind a very close friend or family member, someone you've known for a long time. Maybe things right now are great with them and you. Maybe they're not. Maybe they've passed away. But just someone who you've known for a long time, where there was a lot of good or okay things over the years. And as you hold this person in mind, just set the intention. This is an appreciation meditation. You're going to bring all your focus to the good things. Maybe there's lots of good things. Maybe there's just a few. But you're going to bring all of your attention into those good things, and you're going to feel them more and appreciate them more. So you can start by thinking way back, as far back as you can. Remembering some of the good times. I'll make some suggestions and they might be great for you. Or you can just go wherever you like. Maybe you can remember some really caring times. Or some really fun times. Maybe you can remember laughter. And then bit by bit, you could remember different chapters. Where was this person in this part of your life? And what are some nice memories from there? Where was this person in that other part of your life? And what's some things they did for you there? What's some things they taught you? And just stop thinking of any specifics for a moment and just feel the feeling of appreciating. And take some breaths, and each breath, let yourself feel a deeper appreciation. Let yourself feel a deeper caring and warmth. And as you continue this meditation of appreciating or caring for this person, you might like to keep thinking of different nice memories and specifics. You might like to just keep making the feeling more beautiful. You might like to imagine your perspective transforming so that all your experiences are guided by appreciation and warmth. And for the last part of this appreciation meditation, if you like hugs, I invite you to give yourself a hug. Or something else that's similarly appropriate to you. Maybe you like to put your hand on your shoulder. Or give yourself a thumbs up. And as you give yourself that act of kindness, just take some deep breaths, giving yourself care and appreciation. And when we're ready, you can just bring yourself back from the meditation, back into the temple. So we were talking before about skillful means, and what I just did was a risk. You know, I could imagine some people, when they're having a hard situation, that might have been really confronting. But I had a feeling that the meditation I just guided was going to be nice for everybody. And there's a concept in Buddhism to do right action and right speech. Try to speak in a way that would always work for everybody. So maybe they're a little bit risk averse. I don't know how much I follow that risk aversion. I like to experiment to try and find really beautiful or life-changing and inspiring things. So yeah, I'd love to hear how that appreciation meditation was for everybody, and particularly you if you'd like to share, Shrexamus.
Yeah, it was really nice. I thought of my mother, who was incredibly really a pillar of strength during that time when my dad was first sick, and then now it's kind of like a role reversal. I'm older now, and I'm kind of taking that role on for myself, so I'm kind of focused it towards her, hoping that I can emulate that strength that she showed me. So it was really nice. Yeah, thank you for that.
Beautiful. So I was imagining you were going to be appreciating your dad. And I love that meditation and thinking about positivity. I could share something and then you do something totally different with it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I could have. I could have, but I think maybe I was a little afraid to. I think I was afraid to maybe touch that vein, and maybe I will do this again, I guess, on my own again, to do that towards him, but it's just so, I guess, fresh in my mind that I think I was afraid to.
Well, doing it with your mum, it sounds like that was super helpful and useful, and it sounds like there's so many things you can appreciate about how she's been, and that awareness that you can be that back for her, that's beautiful. That question of are we afraid to touch those parts in our mind? I hope with mindfulness, learning to calm our reactions to ourselves and watch carefully, that every one of us becomes brave to look at every part of our mind, and that whatever's there, we can bring in power and love. But yeah, I understand that some things in life are pretty big, and that's why I hope we feel that we have this community here to support each other and help each other to have that inner strength and that creativity and the wisdom and the peace to be able to bring that awareness to every part of ourselves. On a side note though, I've been to some self-development healing groups where they spend so much of their time looking at the hard stuff and not actually bringing wisdom or transformation, and I've seen these groups just suffer more and more and more. So yeah, I definitely want to encourage all of us to be bringing love and strength and wisdom. And so if you are going to look at a part of your mind that's harder, to really bring love and power into that part of you. I don't want to encourage anyone to have a moment of suffering that they don't need to. So yeah, definitely Shrek's approach there of starting where it's easier, appreciating the lovely things with his mum, is actually a great approach. When it comes to confidence meditation, I encourage people to think about your best friends and how confident you are there, and grow that for a while, and then think about being confident in other places. When it comes to love and kindness meditation, you start with the people that you love easily, And then bit by bit, you feel more love to all the people around you. And then when that's huge, you can then feel love for all beings. So yeah, starting where it's inviting is a beautiful thing for our own mind, to make it easier to just run into positivity. And Fence, that reminds me of your previous question. If you have some wisdom to share with someone, trying to find a way where you imagine it would be inviting or easy for them to hear it, it allows you to take steps together into that positivity more. Ekis?
Yeah, I mean, as you guys were talking about your fathers, I actually focused this meditation on my father. I was feeling down recently because I was looking at some old photos with him from some years ago, where we had backpacked through a canyon to get to these ruins, and he had gone through cancer treatment a few years ago, and it really took a toll on his body, and he jokingly, or not so jokingly, was like, "Oh, there's no way in hell that we're gonna do that again." And that just kind of really stuck with me, like, oh, that really sucks. But it made me think about, we had not always had that kind of relationship. We had mended it in time and shared a space of about 4 years where we really connected. And I thought, we owned that time. That's ours. And I kind of went to impermanence and how, our relationships with everyone in our lives are not amazing the entire time we're alive. We share a time and space where it is, but it's not always at the entire time. So I guess my comment to you is, think of a time where you did have a space and time of a moment of beauty with your father, and and just know that you own that. That's yours. You can't take that away.
You know that those of you who are regularly here, you know that I try to be nitpicky around the precision of maximum enlightenment. So Ekis, I want to respond to you saying that really sucks that you won't get to have these hikes again. I mean, the reality is you got to have these hikes, and the reality is that you had good times with him. And if you're just looking at what exists, that's great. So the thing that sucks is the expectation that you would have been able to have that again. And, if he hadn't said, "Oh, we won't be able to do that again," maybe you wouldn't have even thought about it. So the thing that sucks is actually the creation in the mind. If you just appreciate what you've had, all that's there is the good times and the beauty. If I remember a couple of weeks ago when I was just like, whoa, I'm never going to get to speak to him again, I noticed one thread of my mind could have gone into sadness of that. But then I chose to just be like, actually, I'm never going to get to speak to him again. So what do I actually have now? Okay, I've got the memories and the love and the appreciation. And so I took that thought in a way that was good for me. And so I hope whenever you think about your dad being sick, that you don't go down the "oh sucks" path at all. I don't want that to have any attention. Just the love and the appreciation, and that's what deserves your attention.
Yeah, I guess I apologize. I probably wasn't clear in the beginning that was like the initial thought or feeling that I had, and how I kind of transformed that into, the idea of impermanence, and then sharing that time and knowing that, focusing on that space and time that we did share.
Sorry for underestimating your enlightenment, I guess.
It's okay. You said it a lot more elegantly. I kind of pieces everywhere.
So, Fence, I said before, occasionally there is a circumstance where like taking an idea up against what someone said is great. And I know with some of the regulars here that intellectually we can explore enlightenment, and that whatever's going to be more helpful is going to stand out in the conversation. So Creek, I know the first thing I ever said to you, I was risky, and I was like, actually I completely disagree with what you just said, that you could see it this way and it's more liberating, and you loved it. I hope, well, at least after some while you responded that was really helpful. So Fence, yeah, different people, different times. There are lots of ways to approach enlightenment for all beings. And yeah, Ekis is cool enough that he was like, yeah, I already got that. I've also had times where I responded in a way I thought was helpful, and the person had also already figured it out, but they got really upset that I didn't just assume they'd already figured that out. So, yeah, you're going to get different responses from everyone at different times. So it's just practice and gentleness, trying to find the ways that are helpful and good for everybody. All right. Did anyone have any thoughts or questions or anything that popped up as we were going along that you didn't get a chance to share and you'd like to share or ask right now? Sunbird, I can't tell if you've got your hands up.
Oh, nope, that's where they sit.
Okay. I think there's a little glitter around you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your fairies have their hands up. Awesome. Okay, so I just want to do a recap of what we've covered tonight, and use that as a springboard for where we go next. So for those of you who weren't here for the whole time, you can hopefully glimpse the insights we had. And for those of you who are already here, I hope you remember them and re-feel them and feel that you're cultivating this stronger within you. So we started with our intention setting, that these times to bring you peace and happiness, but bigger than that, it's like transform you into a being of peace and happiness. This awareness that we can cultivate change, like to get that at our core, to make our whole selves these enlightened beings, and that we can share that with others, and we can make the world a more peaceful, easygoing, inspiring, fun, beautiful place. And then we did a meditation where we did some breathing meditation, a little bit of relaxation, a little bit of watching our mind, a little bit of seeing how we can shift how we feel. Part of that was to just get us more ready to be open to positive conversations. And part of that was also learning how to bring your focus into yourself and to go into meditation or to shift how you feel. And then we had a bit of conversation. And does anyone remember what we spoke about right after our first meditation? Oh, Amazer, did you tell your story about bravery? Yeah, about how the more chances we take and the more adventurous we are in life, the more good things can happen. And Lord Kirov told his story about the spiral of smiles and happiness. You've just been smiling for the sake of smiling, which makes you feel good, but also that makes other people around you smile. So there's this like spirals of happiness within the people that you work with.
And Creek told the story about the blank canvas.
Oh yeah, just being able to see things with fresh eyes in each moment to free yourself up. And then we did a happiness meditation. There was some laughter and some joy. And then we did. We had a Fence's question about how do we share with people, and I hope every one of us thinks about not just when people sharing hard times, but in every moment. Where can we bring more happiness and joy to others? Where can we bring different perspectives that make people's lives easier and more wonderful? And then we did the meditation on appreciation and caring after Shrek shared his story of good ways to share with people. And now we're here. So as I tell that story of all the things for today, the thing that stands out for me is, yes, I hope every one of us is on a mission to spread enlightenment, but I hope also we're fully on a mission to learn to be massively more enlightened. So like imagine there's a scale of enlightenment from 1 to infinity, and I hope we always know that there's way more bliss and wisdom for us to become. So as we're out trying to share insights and wisdom with others, I hope we do it in a way that everyone knows that we're also just learning, and we're learning together. And yeah, maybe there's a couple of things that you've cultivated or insights you've had that are amazing. But everyone has wisdom, and we're trying to learn from people wherever we go. So that brings me to my next idea of the power of our thoughts and perspectives. You know, I've talked about cultivating smiles or cultivating appreciation or confidence. But it's actually wild when you pay attention to what you're actually thinking. Iceman, I think you should go back a couple of seats. Oh, Ekis is going to... There we go. Yeah. When we pay attention to what we're actually thinking, it's amazing how much scope we have to transform our thoughts. Let me give an example. So, if you're saying to yourself each day or a few times a week, I am cultivating enlightenment, your mind's going to do a certain thing. So everyone could imagine the kind of mind that has that sentence in it. And then you could imagine the kind of mind that says, I'm on a mission for enlightenment. And then you could imagine the kind of mind that says, I find peace and calm, and there's some things that help me. Then you could imagine the kind of mind that says, every interaction I have, I walk away more enlightened. I can learn something from anyone and everyone. So you can notice all the things I said are kind of the same, but each one of them feels different, and it has a different focus, it has a different perspective. And so as we become mindful and we watch our thoughts and perspectives, I hope you know that just by changing the way you think about things or yourself, it's really going to change your mind. So just like I said to Fence about watching the ways you talk to others, in every one of the ways you talk to yourself, I hope you watch and be creative and make it as helpful and awesome as you can. Sunbird, did you just put your arms in the air? Your avatar is great.
I keep fiddling with my thing. I'll like stick my hand up and wiggle it if
Okay.
I raise
Good.
my hand.
Okay, great.
My headset's being weird.
So given what I was just saying about watching closely how we think about things, I just want you to think about how many thoughts or attitudes do you have in a day? Someone want to give me their estimate? Craig?
Too many.
I have ADHD. My brain is always going 1,000 miles an hour.
Me too.
Yeah, same. I was gonna say I can't count that high.
I guess hundreds.
I can have more thoughts than I can count in a day, like fruits.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
So Shrexmas, I actually think if you look closely, there's probably hundreds in each experience. You walk into a room and every person you look at, you'll have some memories, you have maybe some thoughts about them, you have a feeling in this situation, you're like, oh, what do I do next? What do I do next? I think there's actually hundreds in every little chapter of the day. And so throughout a whole day, I think it's thousands or tens of thousands of things that if you looked closely, you could see, yep, this is how I feel or this is how I act in that part of that day. And for every single one of those things, there's space for creativity. Oh, I could feel differently about that. I could shift gears there. I could rephrase that. I could rehearse being a different way. I also want to encourage everybody to think about what I said before about the you can shift your perspective about other things, but you can also shift gears in your own mind. It might take a lot of practice to move through each moment with just love for all beings, but like 20 minutes a day for a month to give yourself a lifetime of this feeling of bliss for everything, I think it's worth it. Or to train your mind to move at a pace that feels calm and empowered. You might have to do breathing meditation and relaxation meditation every day for a few months. But it's worth it. And more than just it's worth it, I want to inspire every one of us when you think about yourself to always put at the forefront, like, wow, I could. No, not even I could. I am this being of peace. I am this empowered mind. Or like, imagine your ideal self. And really like enrich that. Like, what would it be like for your mind to feel great and your feelings to feel great and to be more skillful at the things you do and to be more connecting? Like, bring your best self into all your thoughts about yourself. And I hope that's exciting enough that you want to give that time every day to practice it. Whether that's love and kindness meditation, whether it's breathing meditation and relaxation meditation to bring peace and steadiness to your inner self, or whether it's confidence meditation or laughter or dance meditation. We can all see different ways that we can turn the dials on our mind that could make life easier or more awesome or happier. So Smile and Sunbird, I've noticed you both mentioned like more thoughts you can handle. I hope as I was speaking just then, you could feel that I was addressing that, but without bringing attention to that unhelpful thought. So I say that because I hope that's also how we approach ourselves. There's definitely been times in my journey where I started to think, I've got this issue. Oh, I've got to deal with this issue. And maybe even for a year or two, I was like, and then eventually I was like, hey, the way I'm thinking about this is just tied up in the issue. What would it be like if I was just to think, hey, how do I want to be instead? And it was wild. Once I started just practicing just the other thought, that some of those things, it was almost instant. My mind just was like, oh, I'm going to just have this different approach now. Some of those things where it was really ingrained, maybe a month in, I hadn't noticed much change. But then another month later, I was like, wow, it's actually a lot better now. And then a few months later, I was like, wow, I even forgot that I used to be like that. It's wild how my brain's just changed gears now. Does anyone have any thoughts or questions or responses to what I just said?
Yeah, I was sorry. I came in here today kind of with two things to say. This is the second thing, but since last week I'd been focusing really hard on the I remember what you called it, like the imagining stuff, picturing stuff in your brain.
Mental rehearsal?
Because that's something. No, the even more simpler, just like being able to see things.
Oh yeah, practicing being able to visualize.
Visualize, yeah.
Yeah.
And I've known for basically my whole life that I really couldn't do that, and so you inspired me last week to try, and even just in the past 7 days or 5 days, I've really felt serious improvement in that I can kind of do it at least to a very limited extent. And then today when we did the thinking about a person meditation, when I was thinking about my brother and just my love for him, and I felt like it was enhanced greatly by my even just tiny ability right now to visualize. So just kind of like another success story or like example of how insanely fast this stuff turns around to be really helpful really quickly.
Vince, that's such a beautiful story. Thank you for sharing. So for those of you who weren't here, we were literally just talking about being able to see things in your mind. Not visualization like visualizing being confident at a party, just being able to see an apple or a line or someone's face. And, these sessions are about making our consciousness awesome. So being able to just use our mind better is important. So we did some sessions like imagining a line or imagining the line turn around. And some people can do that straight away. Some people are just going to have a flash of it. Some people are like, I don't see anything. And so we were practicing for everybody to be able to just start to draw in their mind and then to be able to fill in the picture. And as Fence said, just by practicing for a week, a lifetime of thinking, hey, my mind doesn't visualize, bang, he started to learn how to do it. I also couldn't see stuff when I first learned about brain power, and I read a book that had a few exercises and I did them. And after a little bit, I had like full virtual reality imagination. And Fence, I'm so happy to hear that you're like 1 week into that journey. And that leveling up one part of your mind was then helpful in the appreciation meditation. This is, I guess, another like stone in the temple I'm trying to build in our minds, that like the more we level up parts of our mind, the more amazing it helps all the other parts. So I want us all to be like excited to be brain ninjas. Spend some time visualizing each day. Spend some time in deep relaxation every day. Spend some time in love meditation. Spend some time in mindfulness and watching your awareness. All these things like synergize to just make you more and more awesome, and the benefits are amazing. Fence, that's so good to hear your story. Thank you so much for sharing it. Likewise, I also had some time where my mind would just race all the time and couldn't keep up. And I started thinking of what I would like my mind to be like at a pace that felt good, where I could engage with each thing in a way that feels nice. And Smile, there are moments in meditation where you feel stillness and calm, right? So you know that your mind can get into that state. So practicing more time being there, you can then train your mind to be like that. So I just would imagine every day, yeah, hey, that's what my mind feels like. So I'd go into the meditations, I'd go into beautiful stillness and craft my brain to keep being like that. So yeah, that's my wish for you guys. I believe in you. I know you can do it. You're awesome. That was me doing a callback to Shreximus. Yeah. But it's true. I do believe in you. And I know you guys are awesome. And I know you can do it. Yeah. All right. So we're approaching the time for our last meditation. I haven't chosen a theme for the last meditation for this evening, so I'm open to suggestions and any last comments or questions. I'm curious, of everything you heard tonight, was there anything where you were like, nah, or that guy doesn't understand, my issues are bigger than that? Creek?
Sort of, in the moment where we were, I guess, like, you wanted us to audibly share a sound of happiness. I found I have a pretty big habit of, really, I guess, in any moment that I feel that I have to do something, which is created by myself, right? You know, I won't die if I do that. I've got a really big habit of doing the opposite, almost like a defiant child. So I wasn't mad at myself for doing it. I just saw the habit and was like, oh, there it is. But yeah, so that would probably be the only moment.
I've got a lot of responses to that. One is, I love that you're mindful enough that you saw the process that drove your reaction. That's awesome. And yeah, in society, just conformity isn't a great thing. People should think about what's important and not just follow along. There are also moments where there's a power with going with the group. You know, if you're sitting in a room where everybody's meditating, many people find they can meditate deeper because their brain's just like, whoa, this is what we're all doing right now. And people also find the same thing with happiness meditation. You can get carried away in the happiness. So Creek, I would propose that you take that belief and rather than being like, I just do the opposite anytime, and turn it into that you ask yourself what's best and you're always thoughtful and bring your best self to anything.
Cool, thank you. Oh, I kind of have a little bit of a selfish request in a way.
Yes, please.
As well. So, over the weekend and I guess just really every day, I've been like super hard focusing as much as I can on mindfulness meditation, and I've really gotten to this place of the kind of pick and choose your adventure, if that makes any sense, right?
For those of us who haven't gone deep into mindfulness, do you want to describe what you mean by the pick and choose?
Sure. So, I've gotten to a place where, okay, here's a good example. So imagine a conversation or an experience is a lot like driving, and at certain times during an experience, based on what we've been taught, or learned or taught ourselves throughout our lives. We have habits that are a lot like stop signs or stop lights, or it's sort of like a rule that you must obey during an experience. So what I've noticed is that a lot of my reactions, interpretations, even to the way I describe an experience to myself, are a lot like these stop signs. So I've just kind of, instead of seeing it as a stop sign, either there's like a multitude of signs now where I can just kind of choose what I'd like to do, or alternatively, just forget about them altogether and just quiet the mind and really full send an experience. Whatever's most wise, depends kind of on the experience. Any case, so my selfish request is, I'm getting kind of bored of pick and choose your adventure, and I was wondering if I could like turn the volume knob way up to something like super crazy. Like, what happens when you have like absolute liberation of what you would like to do? That's my selfish request. I've been trying to do it throughout my day, but I kind of just default to just regular mindfulness because it feels more kind, I think.
Are you asking about the pick and choose throughout your day and your actions, or are you talking about in meditation?
Just meditation right now, yeah, because like throughout your day, that's not really reasonable to do. Yeah, I do get to choose what I'd like to do now, which is super cool, but it would be weird to like just be wildly abstract with my reality. It's more kind and coherent to listen deeply to other people and kind of interact with them on their own playing field.
You don't have to be abstract. You could be like wildly enlightened in a way that people could understand. You know,
that's what I mean, like in a way that they can, because I still want to be able to communicate with people.
Cool.
So I guess what
So
I'm
you're
asking is,
requesting...
how can I, within meditation, like, yeah, really turn the volume knob up and like go wild?
Cool. So before we start the meditation, I have two responses to what you said. One is, in meditation, I would suggest, when you're doing breathing meditation, have longer where whatever arises, just go back into the breath. Just bringing 1,000,000% consciousness, your whole brain in synergy of the breathing. So you don't have to pick or choose. All you're doing is single pointed awareness. So that's a suggestion for you. And then another thing I wanted to say in response to the making a happy sound. So I'll make this response and then I'll guide our meditation. I suggested we all take a deep, happy breath and then we let out a happy sound. And I think most of us, we let out a little bit of a happy sound, but then just hearing all the other happy sounds made people giggle and made people feel good. Creek said he had this resistance to do it, but I imagine a few of us probably were like, oh, I don't want to go, like maybe a few of us had some resistance to making that sound. But one of the reasons I like laughter meditations or happiness meditations is because when you jump over that hurdle of resistance and just go into it, you're like, this feels good. And then if we had done a bigger happiness or laughter meditation, then I could have done another exercise to be like, okay, now we're going to laugh 10 times harder. And you're like, no, I can't do that. But then you do it and you're like, now I feel 10 times happier. Ekis, you relate, we came to the happiness meditation yesterday. And it's not just laughter and happiness. Just in general, there's this momentum we have in our mind of like, hey, I'm here, shifting gears to there. Like, no, I still feel here. And just developing the mental habit of just, hey, I'm just going to shift gears just to see. Then you're free to have either one. It's a really beautiful skill to practice. Like when you just really feel ingrained in this feeling right now, and staying there just cause, like it's I found that's can hurt, or it can be not as helpful or not as fun as being able to say, hey, I'm going to spend some time in bliss or sometimes in happiness, and now I've got these 3 choices. Hey, which one am I going to choose? So yeah, this skill of like jumping into different stuff and just trying new things is liberating. All right, Krovik, you arrived just in time. We're about to do our closing meditation. And the request for today's meditation was just to turn up the inner volume on enlightenment and awesomeness. So I hope you're ready. One question before we begin from Ekis.
Oh, if we gotta meditate, because I was gonna tell him briefly about the laughing meditation, but I could probably wait till after the meditation we did.
Oh, I think it'll be enlightening. Do you want to give like the 1-minute version? You can tell more of a story later.
Yeah, so like I had never done a laughter meditation before, so I had no idea what to expect. And I will admit, there was an incredible awkwardness, and maybe that resistance was in me that you were feeling as well, because it felt fictitious, possibly facetious. You know, I'm expressing a human emotion without valid reason, or that's the initial thought. But as we started doing it, I think there was like a communal effect to it, where when I would hear him laugh and other people were laughing, it just kept riffing off of each other to where it naturally started to come out. So it may have started forcefully, but then it built to be something that was actually real. I'd be curious if we do it again, if you try it, just to see the observations of how it might be different.
So
Yeah.
ultimately, there are laughter clubs where they completely just fake it till you make it. Ultimately, I try to make us meditate and find it internally and then let it grow. But there are some times or some people where I like kickstart it and to have the experience you said. But yeah, ultimately I want everybody feeling like, hey, this is my inner happiness and I'm just growing it. But having these little kickstarts just boost the experience. Yeah. So, on that note, we're now going to begin our enlightenment meditation. Enlightenment means a lot of different things to different people. Some groups it means love for all beings. Some groups it means awareness of everything in your mind, full power to choose. Some groups it means some metaphysical thing, like magically being able to read people's minds or shift the fabric of the universe. When I use the word enlightenment, I am talking about a full-powered mind, being aware of your thoughts, never being trapped in beliefs about yourself, never being pushed around by ideas that someone gave you as a kid or that you have been holding on to for too long. It's a free mind. I also include in enlightenment love for all beings. I just think a world where everyone's super lovely, kind and caring is an awesome world. So to me, that's part of enlightenment. And I, as a free mind, would choose bliss and happiness and awesomeness. But so when I say enlightenment, I mean like turning up the volume on all great feelings. Whatever you would choose to like be the great palette of positive, helpful feelings you'd have. So yeah, awareness, creativity, an awesome, vivid mind, and making a great life. That's what I mean when I say enlightenment. We're in a Buddhist temple, so I may as well mention, like, they have the Eightfold Path. So like right speech, truthfulness, honesty, saying good things to people, right actions, doing good things with your life, right intention, putting your focus on things that are helpful, that really benefit you and others. So yeah, when I say enlightenment, yes, a fully empowered person, but I guess I also really mean using your superpower for good, trying to make the world as awesome as possible. So, Creek asked me to turn up the volume on enlightenment. that's going to be our topic for our meditation. This is going to be a high energy meditation, so I'm going to stand up, but you're welcome to do whatever you like. I just want you to pick a power pose, whether that's sitting, legs crossed with the spine totally up and the arms in a really strong meditative posture. Maybe it's standing, maybe it's arms in the air. Just pick whatever for you would be a way to feel powerful in this meditation. And then we're going to take some strong, deep breaths. If you're new to meditation, this first bit is trying to bring your mind out of the stuff around you and into yourself. So I want you to close your eyes and keep feeling strong breaths and hear the breath and feel the breath. And each breath you take, wow, my mind is more here in myself. Right now I'm more present with me. And then you can just let the breathing take on a nature of its own. It doesn't have to be those strong, powerful breaths, but keep watching it. Maybe it gets more powerful. Maybe it gets more soothing. But just watch as the breath transforms, so does your consciousness. Take a few more breaths as you feel yourself shifting gears in your mind. Maybe a deeper peace, a deeper stillness, a bigger sense of awareness. And let yourself remember everything we talked about tonight. Happiness meditation, appreciation meditation, being able to transform your thoughts and transform yourself. Take a few breaths and feel all of that. Just more happiness within yourself. More love and kindness within yourself. Who you are, being created by you, choosing to be more loving, choosing to let go of old mental habits and practicing states of mind that benefit you. But we want to turn up the volume. Imagine you've mastered this. Imagine every thought, your awareness was in that thought, and you brought beautiful feelings and strength and wisdom. The request for this meditation phrased it as, how do we move through our life to be awesome for others? How could you just be full of love, full of kindness, full of joy? How can you make every conversation just be so present with the other people that wherever they are, you just bring some love, bring some simple wisdom, bring a slightly different perspective that's liberating. Imagine, or just say to yourself, I am a being of enlightenment. I get such joy just bringing ease and peace to others. Some enlightening things are so simple. I just love sharing such simple things. Everybody has the next breath in just a moment. I can make every one of those breaths bring peace or care. So I've invited you a few times today to have appreciation meditation every day, or happiness meditation every day, to watch your thoughts and practice positivity, to train your mind to be more visual and vibrant, to do compassion meditation till you're at the point where you feel infinite love for all beings. So of all the things I suggested, I just want you to imagine what you want to practice. Imagine how good it would feel to have mastered any of these positive suggestions, or even make up your own positive ways of being great. Perhaps you're a sports person, every day visualizing being so good at your sport so your skills get better and better. Perhaps you're an artist and you imagine the most beautiful art you can create. In every aspect of your life, just letting your full creativity and positivity, full power, enlightened mind. So be quiet for a moment and just let you consider and create all the ways you want to focus on your enlightenment. Let it feel really good. Imagine what other people in this room right now have been imagining. Let yourself feel the best feelings or the best ideas. Let yourself have a feeling of caring and support for one another. Then when you're ready, look around. And each person you make eye contact with, give them a little nod. See the enlightened being within them. We'll support one another, believe in one another, help one another. Look here at the people on the live stream. Who knows into the future how many millions of people might do this meditation. Wish for every one of them to be loved and encouraged and uplifted. Together, Team Humanity, we're all working together. So we have a tradition here that we finish with a dedication. So I'm going to say the dedication, and then as we walk out, we bow to the enlightened being at the back. I hope you also bow to the enlightened being within you. And then we make our way out into the field, wait for everybody, and then we hang out. So our dedication for today is what you cultivated today. If you think of them as seeds in the garden of your mind, let's dedicate that we care for those seeds. We let them grow and blossom and become massive and fruitful. We can share that fruit with others, and they have seeds to then plant in their garden. We make life more delicious for everyone. And that we bring our creativity in our words and in the things we create to make the world more enlightened. And ultimately, we could get to a place where most beings are actively making the world more enlightened, and it just gets more beautiful beyond what we could even imagine now. Dedicating ourselves, our time to that awesomeness within you and within all beings. Okay, to everyone on the live stream or people watching this in the future, hope you loved it. Be awesome. I hope you join us at these events in the future. And look forward to seeing you